The late-night talk show was just transformed into a full-fledged crime scene by Remy Ma, so stop what you're doing. You heard correctly, yes. This wasn't a spoof or a skit. It was purportedly filmed backstage with doctors acting as though it were part of the script. So tell me, how did a platinum-selling rapper and a so-called transformed woman go from being honored guests to being carried out in handcuffs by 2 police officers and a hairdresser who was holding her purse? From leaning back to leaning away from the evidence, how did we get there? Remy is unaware, the crowd is confused, and the host's face is frozen in the crystal-clear HD video that was just revealed. Whether it was a setup or a relapse is the key question. Hand in the wrong bag because, darling, the footage is true. The receipts are here, and the fall from grace is steep. Let us begin from the beginning. It was supposed to be just another night on the After Hours program with Lance Carter, the jazz band with neon lights, and that cheesy but charming atmosphere where celebs go to promote their projects and act like nothing's wrong. Remy Ma was the primary guest. All was well and good until the backstage camera, yes, the one no one was meant to ever see, leaked. The producers were thrilled, the public relations team was tense, the dress was on fire, the hair was placed, and everything was going according to plan. We are discussing iCloud hacking and energy surveillance approaches, and it is evident from the video that Remy is bending over a table. No, she was not retouching her cosmetics. Remember that Remy Ma has a history of controversy. After spending 6 years in prison for shooting someone for a few $100s, she allegedly told Oprah that she was focused on empowering women and had moved past violence. In a green room, the video now shows her raising grams of a known powder. In addition to what she is supposedly doing, it is shocking since she was physically wiping her nose and going into applause only minutes before she took the stage live, as if nothing had happened. There were people in that room, so let's not forget who they were, even though this could be insane. There was a makeup artist present. Remy is finishing her time of reflection when a young intern, who is most likely new and uninformed, enters. It's classic, but unfortunately for her, the internet sees everything within hours of the footage leaking hashtags, so after hours of the meltdown, Remy Ma didn't lean back, and my mouth dropped open as he froze, holding a folder that looked like a crucifix. Based on his reaction, he saw something he will never forget. Remy looked him in the eye and said, "You didn't see anything." From bars to behind bars, her particular favorite left fans stunned. Some of them played back clips from 2019 in which Fat Joe uncomfortably asks her, "You good?" in the middle of a chat, and other clips showed her appearing a bit too energetic in previous interviews and club appearances. The producers of the show were mute while conspiracy allegations were flying in. In this industry, radio static is code for panic mode because, let's not forget, the After Hours show is live. Therefore, there is no delay or edit button. There was no statement or answer. Instead, right before her section began, we watched anarchy in slow motion. As the band went on, the audience was clapping in confusion. When she eventually made her appearance, there was a quick view of Remy backstage once more, just off stage, and she was clearly shivering. Whether it was nerves or something more sinister, we will never know, but we do know that's when it all fell apart. Just as Remy opened her mouth to respond, the ad cut abruptly as a woman carrying a clipboard rushed past the curtain. We should now take a moment to think about how frequently a live talk show simply interrupts someone. She wasn't uttering an expletive or having a Kanye Taylor moment. This was a prearranged section. So why was it asked? Is the satirical title of her new documentary series, Reminiscence, Redemption or Regret, which was abruptly cancelled by the producers, according to insiders. The show's investors allegedly threatened to stop supporting it if Remy showed up on the show in that state. According to another source, Lance Carter, the host of the show, refused to sit next to her after seeing the footage, telling staff, "If she's rolling in like that, I'm not rolling cameras." And that's when the panic became normal, viewers. There was no screaming, only 2 security guards, a publicist on the verge of tears, and a very shocked Remy Ma being led into a black SUV. You know who was anticipating the blurred-out clip. of the backstage footage was shared by someone, most likely a staff member, just after that SUV pulled off, so you could cut the disappointment with a knife. The little silence was enough to cause enough indignation for TMZ to publish a blurry thumbnail and declare it exclusive. Since it is now a legal concern, law enforcement became involved, and to our surprise, that is precisely where we are going next because, well, it's hours after the blurry video appeared online, the NIPT announced they were investigating spooky footage allegedly linked to Remy Ma, also known as Reminiscence. As you are already aware, that means they are not merely observing. They are congregating, preparing, and possibly even charging. However, things get worse. Burner X, a former Twitter account dubbed Bronx Backstage Leaks Cute, posted the entire raw, unedited, and uncut surveillance film online, and in only 20 minutes, the video had accumulated over 3. It was reposted by The Shade Room, Baller Alert, and even Barstool Sports, who appeared to want a piece of this disaster as well. When TMZ published an edited version, it garnered 2 million views in 2 hours. Titled Remy Ma Behind the Scenes Breakdown Sparks Police Interest, the news media game was over when they started treating this as a criminal probe rather than a slap on the wrist kind of inquiry. An unnamed source close to the DA's office claims that we are investigating not only what she did but also what she carried into a secure building, which is a major offense. It is more significant than a renegade rapper. Now, if you think this is just some tabloid drama, explain. Because the After Hours show was shot in a major network building, it was subject to federal jurisdiction and government oversight. Thus, Remy Ma did not merely have the potential to commit a crime. She really did. The security staff is feverishly attempting to determine who entered, what they brought in, and how the video was initially leaked, according to insiders on network property. According to one producer, who asked not to be named, it wasn't just Remy. We all messed up. This could take down the whole season. The best part is that there are rumors that the FBI might get involved because the substance that was caught on tape isn't just your average party favor. According to multiple gossip accounts, it was a schedule-controlled substance, the kind of thing that gets people in federal courtrooms, not just rehab facilities. The public, meanwhile, has devolved into a dramatic disaster, with Twitter threads analyzing Pinky's exact perspective to determine purpose. Investigators are keeping an eye on behavioral changes by contrasting this film with earlier Remy interviews. You can't tell me she wasn't on something during her Wendy Williams appearance in 2021. Look at her eyes is the literal conclusion of 7 million views. It has evolved into a digital search, meme battle, and real-time cultural study. But that's not all. You hold someone down for years, Papoose wrote in a now-deleted Instagram story 12 hours after the video was made public. There were no captions or any other context. Fans went crazy after seeing that one post, asking if he was still seeing her or if it was a divorce rumor. A few minutes after the piece disappeared, Remy's well-known enemy, Clarissa Shields, wrote an enigmatic tweet that simply read, "Cue Karma Girl." It was deliberate in addition to being awkward, and as you probably know, the internet took a copy of it and used pictures of whole YouTube videos with the title "Clarissa Finally Speaks." Was she correct about Remy all along? Remember how Clarissa publicly accused Remy Ma of having a second life only 2 weeks ago? Fans laughed and called it petty X energy. As if it were a premonition, they are now bringing up that claim again. To make matters worse, Fat Joe tried to minimize the harm with hashtags on Instagram Live, appearing to be a man attempting to hide the fact that he was blindsided. You all know Remy. I know Remy. We've been there, but let's wait for the facts to be known before passing judgment, darling. The Breakfast Club even got involved when they arrived with high-def footage and a potential arrest warrant. Charlemagne declared brutally at the beginning of the broadcast, "If the footage is real, and it looks very real, then we've got to ask what Remy's running from, because it's not accountability." According to multiple reports, Ray is reportedly checking herself into a private treatment center for exhaustion, and her team has now recruited a crisis public relations team. The old trick. Oh dear. This is the exclusive tea, which is based On a direct chat that was leaked between a blogger and a verified stylist, something Remy wasn't even permitted to do. Following her claimed dispute with Papoose, her team begged producers for a quick win to shift public opinion, and the program allegedly demanded a last-minute guest list place. Became a public relations catastrophe in addition to being a last-minute PR gimmick. Just when you thought it couldn't get much worse, one of the backstage crew members wrote on TikTok that they had forewarned the producers that she would look unsteady, sweaty, and talkative. "It's Remy Ma. She'll pull it together," my boss remarked when I inquired whether they were certain she was okay to appear on television. Because she didn't, the repercussions are now mounting like unfiled paperwork. We're talking about sponsors pulling one of the shows and possible litigation for breach of contract. The last piece of the puzzle is that, based on unconfirmed reports, Remy Ma has been officially barred from the network studio lot until further notice. I don't mean suspended, but banned, because you can bet that when betrayal and public opinion collide, there will be a full-blown fallout. Considering that her rap sheet is already longer than a CVS, it is noteworthy that Remy Ma, sis, is currently dealing with the most significant issue of her career. The harm has already been done. Now, let's discuss the fallout. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has stated 48 hours after the video went viral that they are investigating recent claims of a high-profile figure being involved in an altercation at the After Hours program studio. Translation: Remy Ma faces criminal allegations that include endangerment, violation of parole restrictions, possession of a controlled substance, interference with a live production set, and perhaps intent to distribute. Indeed, there were rumors that the final one was actively discussed behind closed doors. The DA claims to have analyzed the leaked tape and found that the amount of the substance was not for personal use. This means that Remy Ma is no longer slipping up backstage. Even worse, she is still technically on supervised release from her prior incarceration while completing all of this. Let's face it, no one wants to see Remy Ma in handcuffs in front of her Dunkin' Donuts, so her legal team is now working tirelessly to arrange a peaceful surrender, avoid a public takedown or an unannounced arrest, according to persons familiar with the situation. However, the network is after her as well. In a recent official announcement, the network, NBC Studios, which owns the rights to the After Hours program, announced a zero-tolerance drug policy violation that may lead to legal litigation. That's right, in addition to potential criminal penalties, Remy may now be subject to a multi-million-dollar lawsuit from the network for safety violations and damage to his reputation. If you believed that the violation of studio etiquette was the end of it, you might reconsider, because now government watchdog agencies are now engaged. Investigative journalist Lexi Monroe published records showing that the FCC has gotten complaints from viewers who believe that something went wrong during the tape and are curious as to why a potentially intoxicated guest was permitted to perform. Ray's portion was never broadcast, but the crowd was present, and several of them have already spoken their opinions. "We heard yelling backstage, then everything just stopped. The host came out and said the show was cutting early. We didn't even get our Q&A," says Harlem-based TikTok user Shay in her now viral 3-part video, "I was there when Remy Ma got snatched." Meanwhile, in the realm of rap and celebrity rumors, people are abandoning sponsors, brands, and even close friends. Reminiscence, Redemption or Regret, a documentary series that was intended to revamp her image and ultimately share her tale, was secretly removed from all streaming platforms, as you may remember. The situation has gotten worse as one audience member apparently filed a lawsuit, saying that they were emotionally distressed when they saw Remy being taken away in the middle of a tantrum. Welcome to the lawsuit economic era. Unfortunately, her celebrated part from the BET Awards was cut. According to a source who spoke to Rap Report Weekly, nobody wants to be next to a sinking ship, especially one that's leaking evidence. She was supposed to appear on the cover of a magazine next month, but it was cancelled, and the rap peers outpacing Travis Scott audience members. Speaking of proof, can you guess who is currently helping the police? The young man who entered and stopped Remy in the middle, the intern, is said to have provided police with a written statement detailing his observations and confirming that was not the first time. For the record, Remy Ma's marriage is in ruins. Her reputation is tarnished, she could be sentenced to prison, and even rumors have started to circulate that don't misunderstand. Remy will not surrender without attempting to alter the narrative. In a well-crafted statement released recently, her public relations team said, Ms. Smith is currently undergoing evaluation and will be entering a wellness facility for exhaustion, personal recovery, and mental clarity. Since no criminal attorney has verified that she has entered treatment, this evaluation could just be a fancy Airbnb with security cameras off. You would think that Remy Ma would stop talking after all of this, but instead, a grainy paparazzi photo shows her scuttling into a blacked-out Escalade. She gives her followers credit for their unwavering love and support, girl. This script has been used before for PR Rehab, which is not the same as real Rehab, went viral and immediately had admirers zooming in like it was a Zapruder film. It turns out that Papoose' enigmatic Instagram post wasn't just heartbreak, it was foreshadowing. One user wrote, "I swear, that's a bracelet from the county. Someone check that wrist." Other users weren't particularly humorous, and the final straw was this tweet. From love and hip-hop to chain and shackles, y'all, the internet has no chill. He has already moved out and has been seen with himself, according to multiple people close to the pair. He's heartbroken, according to a person close to him, but he warned her, and that's all that has to be done now. Broken, and the once heralded queen who went from prison to platinum, Remy Ma, has had a more severe fall than before. Is this the end, or is this the start of something even more sinister, as she awaits her fate indictments, hearings, and media frenzy? Simply wait till the wiretaps are released if you believe this to be absurd. The queen of comeback stories, Remy Ma, is suddenly the subject of a full-fledged scandal, with her entire brand collapsing like a poor beat drop, a talk show filming, viral footage, and the possibility of an arrest. This might be the greatest celebrity collapse of the year, but we're curious about your thoughts. Was this a setup, a call for assistance, or has Remy been acting like everything was fine behind the scenes the entire time? Karma is finally paying off. Share your theories in the comments section. Was Clarissa right from the start? Or is Papoose truly done? Or will the course of events take another unexpected turn that nobody anticipated? Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you're coming for the mayhem, the receipts, and the facts that these famous people would prefer to stay hidden.